Right, this is from Going as Far as I Can, which is subtitled The Ultimate Travel Book, for two reasons really. First of all, because it's my last travel book, in the sense I'll never go again to another place specifically to write a book about it, although obviously foreign parts will continue to figure strongly in my work, of course. The other reason, The Ultimate Travel Book, is it's about the longest migration in human history, which was that from Great Britain to New Zealand. It's the farthest you can go without starting to come back again. And it generated a wave of hate mail, this book, largely, I suppose, because a weird story appeared about me on the front page of their biggest Sunday paper. But the good thing about the hate mail was that it generated a second wave of love mail, support mail, and people said, oh, thank God you're saying these things as somebody coming freshly to the country. And because, you know, yes, we agree with you, our societies in some respects become very unbalanced and silly. So I want to read something which has a direct bearing on that particular aspect of the book. New Zealand, by the way, is an astonishing place. Of course I don't hate it. There are marvellous things there. I mean, well, that's another subject. So here we go. Te Papa is the new National Museum on the waterfront, designed in a colourful, irrational style, with an admired natural history department and important Maori rooms. But when I visit, I discover that the European collection is kept locked in dungeons, and the fact that we're in a Western English-speaking democracy has been eliminated from what the museum has on display. They don't even exhibit the famous portrait of their most celebrated author, Katherine Mansfield. In fact, the receptionists aren't aware of this picture's existence, so they summon a curator called Tony Mackle. He's very on the ball and takes me below, apologising all the while for current museum policy, and through locked metal doors to the secret bunker where the European art is sequestered from public gaze as though it were an obscenity. In silence, he pulls out from the racks Anne Rice's portrait of Katherine Mansfield. It's a very strong painting, gaudy but not garish, intense but not sullen, done in Cornwall in 1918. The scarlet shape of the sitter's dress knocks you back at first. Then you adjust, drawn in by the power of the eyes. The head is posed slightly forward, and the facial expression is concentrated, pushing out of the picture at an angle of 45 degrees and indifferent to the viewer. The candour and aggression of the eyes are issuing a challenge. I don't lie to you, so don't you dare lie to me, they seem to say. How often I have wanted to say the very same thing to people, and held back, because that attitude doesn't win you friends. But I'm getting better. I'm learning to say it more, as I've suffered more from liars. You give honesty and discover you've been given counterfeit in return. It's the most painful thing of all in personal relationships. There is a fracture in Mansfield's deportment. The head is perfectly balanced on the neck, but the body is slumped and on a tilt. The red dress has slipped slightly over to one side, the scoop of the neck is off-centre, and the small breasts are flattened into squares. The painter has caught the mix of petulance and sensuality in Mansfield's mouth, which, judging from photographs, always looked as though it was in the aftermath of a slightly disappointing snog. Tony Mackle, with a shrug of hopelessness, slides the picture back into its annihilating slit.